Hi, everyone. Thank you for joining us for this session. My name is Sam Tulamat, and I'm a PM lead on the Windows 365 and AVD team.
And I'm Kiati, a Frontline PM.
And I'm Anusha. I'm a product manager of Windows 365 team.
So let's get started by talking a little bit about what we're going to be covering today for this session. First of all, we are going to talk about what Windows 365 Frontline is and introduce the concept and the offering. Then we'll talk a little bit about how to use Windows 365 Frontline through the provisioning and configuration experience, and then cover reporting experiences and remote actions. We'll wrap up the session by talking about our upcoming roadmap. Let's dive right in. Many of you are familiar already with Windows 365 Enterprise, which is really our product that we have provided for customers to enable their employees who are full-time information workers. What we found is that with Windows 365 Enterprise, it fits really a lot of uses where the customer or the employee is on their Cloud PC at a consistent time. And with Windows 365 Enterprise, you actually have a license that is required for each user. Now, as we've expanded Windows 365 adoption, we started hearing from customers that there are many other types of use cases within your organization where the user may not need a Cloud PC for the whole time. And this is where we introduce Windows 365 Frontline, which is not just for frontline workers, but anybody who's a part-time worker, a shift worker, someone who is essentially going to be looking to use a Cloud PC for a limited period of time. It allows organizations to expand the adoption of Cloud PC within the organization with Windows 365 Frontline. So let's talk a little bit about what Frontline is specifically. So with Frontline, what we did is we enabled organizations to come and say, if you have many users who are working at the same time, instead of buying each user a license, we actually allow you to purchase a number of licenses that you need based on the number of users that are active at the same time. So we call that based on the demand of active sessions. And you'll see that we have done this by providing still a Cloud PC that is personalized to each and every user and keeping the manageability for the organization consistent. So these were some of the key things that we have made sure to be able to enable with Windows 365 Frontline. So let's talk a little bit about some of the key usage patterns that we've learned and have sort of inspired us to design the solution the way we have. As you can see in this diagram here, a lot of information workers are typically on at a very specific schedule, but shift workers oftentimes they work rotating schedules. And while one is finishing up, another might be started. Another set of users that are very popular in the frontline worker space too is task workers who are working for very short periods of time. So with Windows 365 Frontline, our vision is to cater for the needs of all of these workers over time. Today, with the solution that we're introducing, many of the shift worker and part-time scenarios will be much more flexible on Windows 365. So let's talk about how Windows 365 Frontline works. First of all, let's say you have about 30 employees, call center workers who work at different times. About 10 of them are working at the same time. So what you can do is you can purchase 10 licenses of any Cloud PC size that is available. We have 11 sizes. And those 10 licenses will automatically allow you to provision up to 30 Cloud PCs. You don't have to assign the licenses to the users. You don't have to do anything. We automatically create what we almost can call a pool of licenses. So as 10 users log in, what we are doing is we check, is there enough licenses? And then we power on their Cloud PC and we make it available to them. And it's their own Cloud PC. As soon as they finish their work, they save all their work. They have their own data. They can save their work, and then we power off their Cloud PC. And back again, when they come back the next day, they can use the Cloud PC. So the key piece here is that at a given time, no more than 10 Cloud PCs will be on, and the rest of them will be shut off. And this allows you to say that none of these users specifically will have to be scheduled for a specific time. You don't have to assign the license to share it across users. You simply just have to buy the right number of licenses and then provision up to the number of Cloud PCs that you have. And with each one license, we give you up to 3 Cloud PCs. So the example that I gave you, if you bought 10 licenses, you're going to be able to provision up to 30 Cloud PCs. So that's the key licensing model behind Frontline that allows you to create more adoption within your organization and expand the use of Cloud PC. And it makes it more cost effective for you because these users are using the Cloud PC for that period of time. And then afterwards, it's being shut down automatically by our service. So with that, let me dive into a demo to show you how to configure Windows 365 Frontline. The experience is fairly consistent with how you manage and provision Windows 365 Cloud PCs today. We've made it really simple and easy. And then I'll also show you a quick end user demo to show you what the end user experience looks like. In this demo, I'm going to quickly walk you through the process of purchasing Windows 365 Frontline and what you see in the Microsoft Admin Center, how to provision and configure Windows 365 Frontline Cloud PC. I'm going to highlight a few policies that I recommend that you check out that are specific to Frontline. And then I'm going to end by showing you a quick end user demo. So first, let's get started here. Once you purchased a Windows 365 license, it will automatically show up under your products. It will not show up under licenses because this is a different type of license. You do not need to assign it to a specific user. It just simply shows up here by showing up the purchase quantity. So I have 10 licenses, and it will always show up as assigned licenses 0 because I'm going to be able to assign these licenses directly in provisioning policy in Windows 365 Creation Blade. So once you've purchased, you can head right to provisioning. Now, I can find a provisioning process here under the Cloud PC creation, and I can start by creating a provisioning policy, similar to if you're used to Windows 365 Enterprise, what you do today. So I'm going to call it Frontline Call Center Ignite Test, and I simply need to choose the license type to be Frontline instead of Enterprise. And that will allow us to start looking into the number of Cloud PCs that you have available for you. Everything else here stays the same as you're used to. You can choose the Microsoft hosted network, the geography that you want to create, the region. Everything else stays the same as I have said. And you can just go to the assignment blade, which is the key difference here. Now, instead of assigning the licenses to the users prior to provisioning, in this example here with Frontline, I need to choose the group which you would have created before and ensure that the right members that you want to provide a Cloud PC to are in that group. And then simply, all I have to do is actually assign a number of Cloud PCs to them. Now, the 10 licenses that I have showed you provides you with up to 30 Cloud PCs with a maximum concurrency of 10 always enforced by the service. And that maximum concurrency today is enforced per Cloud PC size. So here you see that I have 24 Cloud PCs, and it is because I've already provisioned about 6 of them prior. I can actually select, I can assign it to this group, and automatically by the time I hit create, it is going to start provisioning a Cloud PC of the size for each member of the call center morning group. So you can see that a list of users with a Cloud PC will be available for you in the assignment section of the provisioning policy. That means that you can actually go and look right here, for example, onto this policy, and you can see the users that received a Cloud PC and the users that did not receive a Cloud PC. Now let's take a look at the end user experience. Now, if I'm one of the employees who's been assigned a Cloud PC, I can come to the Windows 365 app or the web portal or the unified client tab. I will see my Frontline Cloud PC and I can start my session. What we do as soon as the user clicks connect is, if this is the start of the day, we check if there's enough licenses. In this case, we're checking there's enough 10 licenses. And if there is, we remind the user that they should save their data and disconnect when they're done, which you can see here. And we power on their Cloud PC for their start of their use. Now we remind them again hey, please disconnect when you're finished. And of course, if they forget to disconnect when they're finished, we detect that they've been idle. And according to their IT company policies, which you can set, we disconnect their Cloud PC. Now, the user can do their work, have their own personalized Cloud PC, and if they step away during the workday, all of their data is still available up to the idle detection policy that their admin set, which allows them to be productive and makes it super easy for them to do their work. So now that you've seen the experience of setting up Windows 365 Frontline, I want to do a very quick recap on the main key pieces that you will encounter when managing and getting started with Windows 365 Frontline. First of all, figure out the number of licenses that you need to purchase, and that is dependent on the number of users that you have working at the same time. And you can purchase those licenses, and we give you 3 times that number of Cloud PCs to provision. And then we ensure that only the users that are active at the same time can have Cloud PCs that are on. Next, you go to Microsoft Intune and you deploy and you provision using our provisioning experience. You do not have to assign any licenses to users. You simply can assign the Azure AD group to be able to do that. And then finally, once you provision the Cloud PC, your end user at the start of their work can actually go to the Windows 365 app from the web or the client and be able to access their Frontline Cloud PC. And as soon as they finish, they save their work and their data and sign out. And that will signal to us that they are done, and we will shut down their Cloud PC as soon as they're done. All right, well, with that, I'm going to hand it over to Anusha, who's going to cover our reporting and alerting experiences for our Frontline Cloud PCs.
Thanks, Sam. All right, I'm going to walk you through the concurrency reporting for Frontline. This report, although not entirely new, has undergone meaningful improvements based on valuable customer input. As an administrator, having visibility into usage patterns is crucial for optimizing end-user experience. Here's what the report helps with. It gives you a clear view of usage patterns. It presents a comprehensive perspective by incorporating both current and historical data. It helps with informed decision making, so administrators can acquire additional licenses. They can ensure their end users having the best experience. Additionally, administrators receive timely warnings when they're approaching or having reached the allowed concurrency session limit. This proactive feature helps with effective management and avoids potential disruptions. So now let's dive right into the demo. Here I am on the Concurrent Connections report for Frontline, available at the Cloud PC Overview blade under Reports. Let me select the Cloud PC size that I'm keen to explore. The report has 2 sections, the current connections and the historical concurrent connections. At the top, you get a snapshot of currently connected Frontline Cloud PCs, that is real-time count of the active connections. By default, the report shows data for the last 28 days. But with the latest update, administrators have the flexibility to view data hourly for various points. The graph here visually represents most concurrent connections, allowed limit, and the point at which the limit is reached. The table below provides insights into most concurrent connections. This can be hourly or daily based on my selection. The limit represents the max concurrency limit, which is equal to the number of licenses purchased. To ensure you stay on top of things, the report also includes warnings for both approaching and hitting the max concurrency limit. With these comprehensive insights to usage patterns, this proactive feature ensures you're well informed and in complete control of your Cloud PC environment. Let's look at proactive alerting for Frontline. How proactive alerts on Windows 365 makes it easy to monitor the health of your environment and being informed of critical issues before they affect your Cloud PC users. Even better, I think I can show you how to set up and configure these alerts to ensure your environment continues to stay healthy. The alerting rule I'm going to talk about is frontline Cloud PCs that are reaching concurrency limits. So it's crucial for an administrator to receive alerts both in console and email, so the administrator is informed when the Cloud PC users are blocked from reaching their Cloud PCs because they are hitting the max concurrency limit. So let me dive right into the demo.
I'm on the Alert Overview page that shows alerts that an administrator can establish for frontline Cloud PCs. By clicking on the Alert line item here, you get an event summary flyout that provides additional details of the impact and, most importantly, a call to action for a report to gain deeper understanding about frontline Cloud PCs that are impacted. Clicking on this report link here will launch the concurrency report for Frontline. As I showed you earlier, you can use this concurrency report to gain insights on the Frontline Cloud PCs that are nearing or hitting the concurrency limit, so you can go acquire additional licenses to help the peak usage. Let me show you how to configure this alert rule. Clicking on the Frontline Alert rule opens up an Edit Alert page where you can define this alert rule for your preferences and the environment that you manage. You have the flexibility to customize, enable, disable alerts, set the conditions, modify the settings, and also define how you like to be notified. It can be through an email or a portal pop-up, depending on your specific requirement. You can also specify the language you like to be notified in. This is how proactive alerts for Frontline helps administrators to stay updated on Frontline Cloud PCs that are nearing or reaching concurrency limit, allowing them to take prompt and informed actions to ensure their end users have the best experience while using their Frontline Cloud PCs.
Let me hand it over to Kiari.
Great. I'll cover remote actions. So within the Intune portal, admins can use remote actions to manage Cloud PCs individually or in bulk. A few of the remote actions available include collecting diagnostics, resizing the Cloud PC, or placing the Cloud PC under review. Due to Frontline PC's unique nature of being turned on and off, we went ahead and created 2 new remote actions that are only available for Windows 365 Frontline. That is Power On and Power Off. Now, admins are not expected to depend on these remote actions every day, as the power status of Cloud PCs are managed by the service automatically. However, when admins need to manage concurrency rates, run updates, or install critical apps, these remote actions will be the necessary tools to help you complete those actions. Now I'll go ahead and share my screen so that I can demo the Power On and Power Off actions. Here is a Cloud PC. As you can see in the Essentials section, the power state indicates that it is currently powered on. To power it off, I'm going to go up here to the remote actions and click on the Power Off remote action. I'll verify that yes, I want to go through with it. And the right-hand corner indicates that Power Off has been initiated. Now, typically, this action does take a few minutes, so you can go ahead and refresh the page. I do see that the power state still indicates that the Cloud PC is powered on. However, because the action is pending, the Power Off button is now grayed out. Over here in the device action status list, you can see that Power Off is pending for the correct time and date. I'm going to go ahead and switch over to demo the bulk actions. To access this, you're going to go ahead and go to the All Devices blade within Intune and click on the Bulk Device Actions button. Here it'll take you to this workflow. On the Basics tab, you're going to go ahead and select Windows for your OS, Cloud PCs for your device type, and then you're going to select the action you want to perform in bulk. I'm going to go ahead and select Power Off once more and click Next. Here I can select my devices in two ways. I can individually select devices that are available for this action, or I can apply this action to a group that I may have already created previously. For the demo, I'll go ahead and individually select some devices. Here I can see the list of devices that are currently powered on so that they can be powered off. Now from here, I'm just going to go ahead and click on, say, around 3 of the Cloud PCs. Go ahead and select this and click on Next. Here, I'll just go ahead and review all my selections and I'll hit the Create button. And then in the top right corner, you can see that the bulk power off has been initiated. Now again, this will take a few minutes. Thank you. Now we'll go ahead and pass it back to Sam.
Thanks, Kiati. So with all of these great features that we've talked about today, I want to wrap the session up by talking to you a little bit about our roadmap, because we're actively working to make Windows 365 Frontline better and listening to your feedback in different areas so that we enable you to deploy it and adopt it. So one of the key pieces that I want to highlight is that we've heard a lot of feedback from our customers about the time that it takes typically at the beginning of the start of the workday to start the Cloud PC, which is when the user is accessing the Cloud PC for the first time in the day. It takes us up to 2 to 3 minutes to actually power on that Cloud PC. In order for us to improve that, we are currently working on an intelligent AI-based algorithm that will pre-start that Cloud PC based on the usage pattern of the user, so that as they are starting their shift or their work, the Cloud PC is already powered on and they don't have to wait for that. So that's a feature we're really super excited about, and it should reduce the amount of time that it takes for the user to log in at the start of the shift. Another feature I want to highlight is something that we've heard from a lot of customers, is that oftentimes when it comes to shifts, workers might actually overlap while they're working. So let's say I have 10 employees working a shift, and then I have another 10 starting soon. There may be a period where I still have 2 or 3 people logged in while the new 10 are coming on. And those periods tend to be short. They're about 45 minutes up to an hour during those shift overlap times. So we are working on a feature for that period of overlap up to 2 to 3 times a day. And that is to help you with the flexibility that is needed to enable your users to get right into their work and be productive during those shift overlap period. We've added hourly usage data that you can see when the Cloud PC is being used by the hour, not just by the day. And then finally, there are 2 features that I want to highlight that we've heard a lot about over the last couple of months. One is what we call allotment, which is the ability for you as an admin to say, this is the amount of concurrency I want for a specific group. So say you have a set of call center workers today and another set of finance users that are logging in briefly to do some work. Today, when you buy Frontline Cloud PCs, you only have the ability to have the concurrency set based on the Cloud PC size and the number of licenses they purchased. With this feature, it will allow you to be able to say, I would like to allocate 15 licenses, which is going to be essentially 15 concurrency to this call center group, and then 12 to the other group. And that way you can break up the concurrency model and enable different groups to be productive. The last feature I'll cover is resize. So today, Frontline Cloud PCs don't support the Cloud PC resize feature, and this is something that we're actively working on making sure that we support. So we're excited for that feature based on your feedback and wanting to make sure that it works on Frontline Cloud PCs. These are some of the enhancements that we are making. There's a lot of other things that we are actively working on. Some of these that I highlighted are specifically things that are today in development and are officially on our roadmap. We're excited to release those features and continue to listen to your feedback, making Windows 365 Frontline better. Thank you all for joining us today. I hope you enjoyed this session, and thanks for all the speakers for their time too.